Michele? I feel buoyant and alive, Michele. It's amazing. I don't feel as though I've got to gather in all that negative crap. It's like a different planet. It opens up possibilities.
They don't sleep very well. For the first time in 45 years, I slept for 10 and a half hours. I woke up like a new man. I don't know if she had anything to do with it, but no one else was sprinkling me. This woman says she's got a gift.
Hi there, this is Michele Ho Lung, and it is the 33rd episode of the Sparkle Experience Show. And I'm so excited because tonight we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic, and that is mold. And with me tonight here is Ron Levinson. He is CEO of UVC Health Solutions. And Ron, so happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Michele. Glad to be here as usual. Thanks for having me. I have some very interesting statistics to tell people about today. I think we're going to change a lot of lives with what we're going to talk about.
Yes, I think we will. And tonight we're talking about mold. And, you know, it's funny, but I just recently had a bunch of people who have had, one had a flood, the other one had a situation in her high-rise condo where she's having to deal with mold in her ceiling, and they're having a discussion about whether or not has ownership of it, and also if it's up there, then where else is it in the building, right? So the thing with mold is, Ron, you will attest to it, right? It can be very, very dangerous to health, is it?
Well, yeah. Mold is the number one undiagnosed health issue in the world. It's out of sight, out of mind. Most people don't realize it. There's over 270 different strains of mold. 270 strains of mold. Every home has some form of mold. Every home, they say, and every structure has some form of mold. Not all mold will get to the point where it's going to be overwhelming like black mold. Black mold is the number one killer in molds, is the black mold. Most people know about that. 70% of all homes today have black mold. 70%. Mold is the number one undiagnosed health issue in the world. I'm going to read some statistics from scientific articles on mold that most people don't realize, number one, because they need to take this very seriously. Remember, what we're discussing right now, Michele, 100% of the population has this issue. They just don't know about it because they don't know how to control it until now. Okay. They talk about mold, a common cause of psychiatric symptoms or mold, depression, anxiety, insomnia, especially the depression in young children today. We know how prevalent depression has been and anxiety in everybody today, not just children, but it's tenfold compared to what it was years ago. And they attributed it to 70% of homes have this that they're dealing with.
Yeah, it's really people don't realize how serious mold can get. I had a client of mine, and I don't know if I told the story before, but he actually complained that he wasn't feeling, he was feeling out of sorts years ago.
That's what they say. It creates brain fog.
Well, the thing is, he said he wasn't sure how he was feeling. He was feeling kind of nauseous, but he was feeling kind of not with it. And he said, so I said to him, I had a key question. I said, okay, wait a second. When is there a certain time where you're feeling this way? He says, well, I don't feel that way all the time. I said, well, when exactly do you feel that way? And he says, actually, when I go out of the house, I'm okay.
Sure.
And I said, really? I said, okay, so when you come home, you feel bad again. He said, yes. I said, well, check for mold. This was years ago.
Yeah, but the problem is here's the issue with mold. 90% of you can't even see. Okay,
but he couldn't see it.
You're not. That's
so
what
happened after that was I told him to check for mold, and he ended up looking in his house, and he ended up finding it behind a wall, and they had to strip the wall and do major cleanup. So
yeah, but there's mold you'll never find, because what happens is, today the homes are built much tighter than they were years ago. All homes build up condensation in the walls. when from hot to cold, it builds up moisture. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it just does. Okay, well, that's going to create mold. That's what they're saying. Every home in the world basically has some form of mold. Might not be killer mold in all of them, but when you figure 70% of your homes have black mold. Now the one thing that people aren't taking into consideration where the mold is really affecting them, and this is something that people really need to take seriously, and it's been proven by science, is you're sleeping in it every night you go to bed. It's in your mattress because of your humidity that builds up in the mattress
You
just
think
from
so?
your pot,
I
just
never
from your.
thought that the mattress would have mold in it.
Oh, you have no idea because think about just your body perspiration. When you think about all those layers of of padding that's in a mattress,
Right,
okay,
right.
and your pillows.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is between the mold and the bacteria that builds up in the mattresses, and then you're burying your face in that every single night. That's why mold toxicity creates also eczema, but that's why people wake up with kind of a brain fog. Now they wake up kind of groggy. It's been proven. Okay, a lot of it is coming from your mattress and your pillows. It's
But it
just.
can actually be more worse than just brain fog because there's a well-documented case of I think the husband was a very prestigious lawyer, and they lived in a beautiful house, and they were sick and nobody could tell them what it was. And finally, after a long period of time, they realized it was black mold, and that
Yes,
by that time the husband had lost his ability to think. So he's really it's really sad. And they had to actually get rid of, like, tear the house down because the mold was
that's
so far
yes.
gone, right? So
Well, and
mold.
that's it. People think because I live in $1 million home or a very expensive home, they don't have issues. Well, it's actually just the opposite. The nicer the home, the more toxic they are. And I'll explain. Okay.
Okay.
Because, okay, let's talk first of all about they say, the new car smell,
Mm-hmm.
that smell. Well, every product in your home, when you buy it, has a new smell to it, right? You smell new furniture, you smell new paint job. Well, all that is toxic. People just aren't realizing that because they're used to smelling things. They're used to odors. They walk in a brand new home and it smells new, right?
Right. A
There's that new,
car, especially a brand new car, smells new.
well, a new home is the same way, and the nicer the home, the nicer goods you're buying, the more goods you have in the home. Well, everything has chemicals in it. So that's the other issue between the mold in your home and all the other chemicals in your home. It's toxic. Now here I'm reading scientific there's 7 million deaths per year are linked to indoor air quality, period. 7 million deaths. Mold may be hard to find, but it can be deadly impact on your health. Of the 21.8 million people reported to have asthma per year, approximately 4.5 million caused that is attributed to the dampness and the mold has
That's a
created it.
fifth of the people who have asthma, it's because of mold?
It's because of mold.
Really?
That's what they can prove. Yeah. And it's even worse, and it's even worse than that when you start thinking about all the things that mold is doing to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the problem is there's no way to get around it. You're going to get it until now. That's where the cold oxygen plasma comes in, because with cold oxygen plasma or cold atmospheric plasma, which is the same thing, it will never let mold grow. If you already have mold in your atmosphere and you bring one of these units in, it's killing everything that's in it. It's killing all the mold spores that are in the air and in your
Right.
lungs
So
and in your body is what it's
So,
doing.
Ron, not meaning to interrupt, okay? Not meaning to interrupt. For any listeners out there joining us live on Facebook or on LinkedIn, I only found out about, or for the first time, I only found out about Ron's device, which is a little unit. It's 6 pounds, and different. The cabinet is the same for the different
About the
square foot.
size of a small toaster.
Right. So when I found out about it on episode 20, you can check it out. I was going, Ron, what? It does what? It's been around how long? It
30
it
years.
right. It's how do you know why don't I know about it so far? Now I'm gonna just because Ron had a piece of cheese, but he said he lost it, I think. So I did, I got my own unit shortly after. Thank you, Ron. And I bought it. And then what I did, because I like to see things myself, I like to, I'm the experimenter. If there's something to prove, I like to, if I can, I like to do it myself. So what I did is I'm going to see if I can shift my camera, if it's going to behave. If people can see the camera, I'm gonna show you a few pieces of cheese that I did. Now, this one here that I have in here, this was done in November 7th, and I took it out of my fridge. It had mold on it. And if you look, you'll see a little bit of the black here, right? You'll see the black here. That was where it was at on November 6th. Now, I've had this sitting by the UV cold plasma unit, just open to the cold plasma that's in my home right now, because it's in the air, it's displaced, it's 2.2 times heavier than air. So this cheese has been sitting on my counter for since that time, and it hasn't grown. Now, I'll show you another piece. This piece of cheese here now, it's 2 weeks after I found that piece, there's another little bit of mold on a piece of cheese. I put it out, and this is now where this piece of cheese is lightly covered in saran wrap, so the cold oxygen plasma is not touching it. It has taken off on both sides. So this is shorter period of time that it started with a mold, but you can see it's all taken off. Now, more recently, I took another piece out, which is another 2 weeks over. No cap, it says. So it's no oxygen plasma. Look at this. This is just after about a week. And this other one has been out for how many weeks? And it's not progressed at all. This thing
Yeah,
actually,
it will never. Yeah,
this
it'll
one
keep
here
you.
that you're looking at, it's really gross and it smells of mold. Like it smells really, how do you say, moldy? And at the back, look at that. I think you can see that it's green. Oh, here, right?
Yeah, well, people can do their own tests. I
They
tell
can do their
people
own test. What
that's
I'm trying to
yeah,
say now is I did one more test, which was I moved my device to a different level of the house after a few weeks. And then I left this one where it was before. And even though it's not with the unit, look at it, it's not still progressed. Now, the thing I want you to notice is that it has been, there's condensation on the cheese because I don't know why it's doing that, but it's
because there's moisture in the actual process. So it actually does that. In fact, that's why it heals skin and stuff because there's
okay.
actual moisture in it. This I found out some time ago when I let the cheese, I left it in my car by accident. It was cheddar cheese and was all white and dry. I brought it back in the house and put it back up on the shelf in the cold plasma atmosphere. And the next morning it was nice and yellow and moist again.
Yeah, what I want you to notice is on this lid, I don't think you can, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there's some moisture on it. Like it's, if you think about it, if there's moisture, there should be mold, right? Because it's
Not
cheese.
well, it depends on the
However,
product. Yeah.
no, no, but
Yes.
cheese in a normal
Yes.
situation, cheese
Yes.
in normal air, when there is
Yes.
moisture around, it's going to get moldy fast.
Yes.
This thing has moisture on the lid. It is moisture, has been moist the whole time since I put it out on November 7th. And yet still there is no extra, no additional mold activity happening here. So what that tells me is a mold cannot grow in the cold atmospheric plasma
Right.
environment. And
And the beauty is it doesn't matter where that is. It doesn't have to be near the machine, and
right, the
people need to
machine
understand
actually is
that.
on a different level of my home right now. And
Yes, it fills the whole
home,
home with
and
the
this is
plasma.
why I did this test, right? So I put
Right.
it where the unit wasn't on a different level, just thinking maybe there's not enough cold atmospheric plasma in my second level, but yet still it's not there and it still is not progressing. So what does that tell me? It's gone through now my whole home and my whole home. If the mold can't grow, well, then other things can't actually. It's doing what it needs to do to everything else.
Well, yeah, it's
So this
also
I find
killing
is
all the
really,
bacteria and all
really,
the viruses
yeah.
and all odors. This process of neutralizes all odors.
This excites me because, as I said to Ron, if you notice, Ron, if you remember in episode 20, right? I was saying to you, it does what? You know, it does what? How does it like it does my dust mites, kills the dust mites in my on my mattress. It freshens up my pillows, it freshens up my comforter. You know, I was telling you, Ron, the other day that I actually took out all the winter, a few of my winter coats because they're not, you know, stained or anything. And I put it out and I flipped it inside out and I got my winter coats all nice and fresh again because it sterilizes it,
Right, right,
right?
right.
So,
Takes all, any kind of musty odor or a lot of
and it
times
also
I have,
sterilize, gets it clean because it's sterilizing, killing all the germs everywhere
right,
on that jacket.
right.
True?
True, very no, true. It's killing any bacteria, any germs, any bacteria. That's why I tell people we just talked about mattresses a little while ago. That's why a lot of my clients, I tell them at least minimum once a week, leave your beds unmade so this your plasma air can reach the surface of your mattress and leave your pillowcases off because it will sterilize and sanitize your mattresses.
Well, I had a first-hand experience of that. I told it on another to you before, and that is after my unit was running for a few days, in my bedroom, I actually did what you said. I took off all the bed sheets and took the comforter off the bed, and I left it off, and then I flipped the comforter so it got both sides that evening, and that well, the whole like it was about 8 hours each side. The next, when I got into bed that night, it was my body just went, whoo, wow, this feels so
Fresh.
nice.
You can tell a
The
difference. Yeah.
body, I think your body recognizes when something is pure,
Well,
and
see, I mean,
it smelled
most of
so
these,
fresh.
most of the things that are affecting people is naturally out of sight, out of mind. You can't see all the different things that are destroying your body, your immune system, your nervous system. When you hear the list of things, people, well, I'm going to say this again. Mold is the number one undiagnosed health issue in the world. These are some of the things that's been attributed to people that are getting numerous amount of mold, muscle cramps, unusual pain, what they call ice pick pain, headaches, light sensitivity, red eyes, blurred vision, tearing. The big one is sinus problems. Like there's statistics on sinus problems on what mold does called sinusitis.
Sinusitis. I
Yeah.
think too, the thing is there are when the last thing I read, it said on the Canadian government website, it said that there were 300 types of mold now. So I
Well, the
think that
problem
the,
is, like
the
I
varieties have increased. Now, different mold, I would, because it has different, there's different microtoxins in it. I think you may have a variety of symptoms too, because it's different reactions to
exactly.
different
They're
types of,
all mixing.
right.
They're all
So
mixed.
mold, you know, is a serious issue. And if you have a fish tank, you probably have, like I do, you probably have mold growing other places because the air might be a little moisture. And if you had any spills on the carpets, you know, my thing was it allows me to have some peace of mind because here's the thing, mold gives off spores into the air,
Right.
and the spores can't live in the cold oxygen plasma either. So the air becomes pure, even if you have mold that it can't get to. I'm thinking that you're still protected because if you have
Well,
the cold atmospheric plasma in the air, it's still not going to affect.
plus it's in your, you got to remember too, it's, you, you're not in your home every day. You go to work, there's also mold in the
Mm.
workplace too. So when you come home, and you start breathing this plasma air, it's cleansing and purifying your lungs, your nasal passage. So anything that got in there during the
Mhm.
day that's affecting you is being neutralized and
Right.
sterilized. That's what cold plasma can do for people. You
One
know,
thing people have been saying, so they say at first the question once people get the idea of what this is, because honestly, for me, Ron, I have to admit, Jade, my co-host, had said to me to invite you on the show, and I'm going, what's that? It looks like another, gizmo. And I said, why would I even talk about it on my show, And she asked me I think it was three times. And finally I thought, okay, let's do it. And when I did it, I'm going, what?
Right.
It did what? It does what?
It,
Because, the major concern right now, Christmas is coming, guys, and I've been saying to people, treat yourself, forget the Christmas presents, get this as a gift to yourself and your family because it sounds like a lot of money. But when you think of all the things it does in your home for your family, for everything you're doing in your home, it really pays for itself very quickly because one, I'm saving on dry cleaning. Two, I'm not having to necessarily worry about my ducts in my house too much because the
it's
cold
also,
oxygen
that's
plasma
another,
is going through
Michelle,
with it. Once you have
that,
enough, it's like
it
water, right?
sterilizes your ductwork. That's another thing too.
Right, it goes
People
through
don't
where it's
understand
least
because
resistant.
mold's in there. I guarantee you, mold is in your ductwork of your homes. It just every
Right.
home.
So you may want to vacuum it out to get the gunk out, but in terms of just making it, having a peace of mind that your ductwork is sterile and you're not, your duct system and you're not getting germs from all of that or spores, this thing is going to solve that issue in terms of
People are
smells.
the whole concept behind this whole thing is making people's life better. They don't, you can have a family of 5 or 6 and there's all different health issues in that home. I guarantee you there's health issues depending on what stage the child is and the parents. They're always going to have health issues and one spreads it to the next. When people, if people were to do their research, because even doctors don't know how serious mold is. Let me just kind of go over some of these statistics so people can do their own research, because these are damages. Each year mold destroys more wood than all the fires and termites combined.
Oh,
Think about that. Think about that. Most doctors do not have the training to identify mold illnesses. Possibly every doctor in the United States is treating mold illnesses and they just don't realize it. That's how serious it is. About 40% of asthma episodes say are triggered by household prevalence of mold, dust mites, and mainly mold. Any kind of water damage is going to create mold no matter what it is. Up to 25% of the population has genetic predisposition that makes them more susceptible to mold illnesses.
I many years ago, actually not that long, but 10 years ago, 2014, in about March or so, I met a lady. She was one of my clients, and she when I met her, she said she had had mold poisoning, and it took her 9 years to cure it, to
Yes.
help, to get better because so serious, her and her daughter, and that the only thing that helped her was energy work. That's what she did to get herself better. But what she shared with me, which I found was really interesting, she said she had such a heightened sense of mold that if mold was in a room or somewhere where she was walking into, she would automatically, like an amoeba, the amoeba, when the amoeba senses thing,
Yeah.
in the end, it will retreat. It will just pull back because it senses that whatever the toxins and whatever it is wherever it's going. She said she actually, she doesn't even think. Her body pulls her away out of that entranceway if it's going into a room. And so I found that really interesting because our body has a sense of it, but it's a developed sense, right?
Well, like I say, the problem is if we don't expose people to this issue, no one else is going to do that. I hope people are paying attention. It's just like here, 93% of chronic sinus infections have been attributed to mold. 93% of
So now,
chronic.
how are they gonna when they get so the test is gonna be if they have a lot of allergies, the test could be that they buy a unit. Now you have, Ron, money back guarantee. What is it?
I give a 30-day money back guarantee, and no one's ever asked for their money back. Now, that's how I got involved because my allergies were so severe. My nose used to run like a faucet. It still does. This controls it. Okay. If I go away and I'm away from my unit for a long time, I'll get stuffy in my nose and start running. When I come home, I can breathe again. Okay. So that's what this does. This is preventative also. It's cleansing
So
your
you said
nasal.
to me that you were drugged your whole life because you discovered this 18 years ago. That makes you 61 years old.
Yeah, I was in my 60s when I discovered this.
But you told me you were on drugs every day. Is that
I used to take Claritin like crazy. My allergies used to be so bad. That's what I'm trying to say. I haven't been not just my allergies. When I was a child, I think I told you I had rheumatic fever. So my immune system was kind of compromised because I used to get bronchitis. My sinus infections were tremendous. I don't know if anybody ever had them, but mine were so painful it was ridiculous. In fact, I thought it was toothaches. That's how bad. It used to travel down and get into my
oh,
teeth and my gums, and the pain was excruciating. I would be having rheumatic fever. I would get these head colds and stuff. I would get a fever. I could be in bed for a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks with a low grade temperature. I'm not just trying to give people
so
a
you were
fix.
actually producing sinus. It was
I had all kinds of
overactive.
health. I haven't been sick, not a cold, not a flu, not a sore throat, not even the sniffles in 18 years. 18 years. My
So you came
doctors
off your
look at me and they
drugs.
can't believe hey, look, I'm pushing 80 years old.
So you
Okay.
you used to you were able to come off all of the Claritin and all the drugs
I
once you.
don't take anything. I have saved thousands of dollars just in
How much did you
medication.
spend, if you don't mind my asking, every month on drugs
Well, the
before?
Claritin, I was probably spending 30, $40 a month on just over the counter Claritin and antihistamines.
Oh,
I mean, and you know what that does to you? It makes you feel groggy
right,
and
right.
especially in the summertime. I mean, when I was born and raised in Southern California, in the summertime, I would sneeze and so much that I almost passed out from sneezing. I'd go through boxes of Kleenex. I actually moved out of California to get near the beach to see if it'd be better, and
Mm.
it really wasn't. So I suffered all my life, and then I discovered this, and then you know what? 18 years, roughly 18 years later, I decided that I'm going to help people. I came out of retirement, not to make money on this thing, but I live in the Portland, Oregon area, and we have a very high concentration of mold here, very high concentration because it's damp all the time. And that's on the news. They were talking about all the people suffering from allergies and
Mm.
mold, and that's when I decided to do what we're doing right this minute to help people. And I have helped people. I've actually saved lives with this problem.
You saved lives with during COVID, actually, right? There's a
I
COVID
have,
outbreak,
yes.
and this thing kills COVID in 0.44 of a second.
It,
It's clinically true,
I,
in labs proven, right?
I have every test known to man. Okay, this has been tested in everyday environment testing, like in hospital wards and concert halls. It is not what they call shoebox testing, where the 99% of all these air purifiers, I'm going to say it, and I'll challenge any of them, are lying. If you take an air purifier and put a something with bacteria and stuff right in front of literally right in front of it, like inches, it's going to do a little bit to it. Move it 6, 7, 8 feet away, and it does nothing.
Well, it's not
Literally.
seeking and destroying like the cold
It's not.
plasma
Yeah,
generator.
yeah. This is not an air purifier. It sterilizes not just you, but once one is in your atmosphere, Michelle, it's sterilizing every square inch of your every surface is sterile. Every surface is sterile. So it's just like, well, you have some of the statistics. It kills listeria. Okay,
Salmonella,
listeria, salmonella,
E. coli.
E. coli, especially. These are things that are going around right now, at least in the United States. There's been several cases of it killing people recently, of tainted foods and stuff that were spread through the markets and stuff.
Yeah,
So
someone was asking me because she works in a restaurant, and every time I see her, she's sick. And I finally said, "Well, how is it that you're so sick all the time?" And she said, "Well, when the patrons for the restaurant come in, they're sick. then everybody in the restaurant gets sick one by
Right,
one.
right.
And then it's this cycle. And I said, well, I would really highly recommend you share this technology with your boss because it avoids the absenteeism, the trying to,
Yes.
figure out who is going to cover who. And then, if you have a buffet, for example, your everything out in the buffet will be
Oh,
sterile
yes.
because,
Right.
it's just a par for the course. It
Well,
sterilizes the air,
this
the stuff it
process is used in
touches.
your high-end food processing plants because what it does is what turns all your food bad is going to be bacteria. If it's perishables and vegetables, it turns it brown. Well, this process kills all bacteria in there, all bacteria, even
But good
drug,
bacteria are okay from what.
even there is no good bacteria in
Well,
there.
there
You
is
probably
because there is that they apparently there's good bacteria on the eyelids that
yeah, but it's enclosed too. You close your eyes, it's just like
yeah,
it's
but
the
they did
bacteria
a
that's in
study.
your
I
gut.
I read it. They did a study and the good
I know.
bacteria were
We,
fine,
I get, but what I'm
which
getting
is
at is
amazing again, right?
any bacteria that can hurt you, this process
Yeah, but the
neutralizes.
good one it leaves alone for some reason. It's intelligent enough. I don't know how it does that, but the good bacteria are fine. The bad ones, cancer cells, not so good.
When you read the statistics, like on a just tech, well, I'm going to talk about sheets, but then consider your mat. You wash your sheets and stuff. There's 19 million bacteria bites, they call it, per square inch. 19 million per square inch. Now take that in a mattress that never gets washed. Okay, you take all that bacteria, you take all that mold, and then you're putting your body in it every single night. Okay,
So there was
so
an interesting article I read just last week, and it said that ongoing research is more and more research, current day research is coming up with the fact that we are so living in such a polluted, so many toxins around that our bodies are not able to handle. It's like a toxic overload.
they
So
call
what
it
the
body, yeah,
body,
they call it, it's a chemical overload.
right? So what the body now has to do before when we go to sleep is it has to try and get rid of all this toxicity before it starts to heal.
But when you go
Now,
to bed at night, it's going to get worse.
right. So now an interesting point is that if when actually not if when the cold oxygen plasma is getting rid of all the toxicity in your home environment and your body doesn't have to deal with the formaldehyde, the benzene and off gassing, all the dust mites that were there before but now aren't, and the feces that were on the pillowcases and stuff and it's not there anymore, and all of the other things happening, then the body right away as you go to sleep, it can now doesn't have to deal with that. It just goes and starts healing.
Right, right.
So now the
Well,
body is able to rejuvenate do what it has to do and get to that rejuvenation part of things. So it starts to heal. And that's what I think happened to Pam's mom, who came on the show on episode. Pam said how her mom was not having the
not,
nebulizer
but
treatments.
not just healing, regenerating also. Now they've also there's articles you got to understand if you were to Google, and I tell people to Google cold atmospheric plasma or cold oxygen plasma, and now there's been many scientific studies now about this being the future of medicine, number one, but how it enhances your blood flow, how it enhances your stem cells. Now you got to understand, like I said, I'm pushing 80 years old. I haven't been sick in years. Now they're using it for killing cancer cells.
Yeah, there's
They're
a
using
plasma oncology, they call it now. I
their
just read an
plasma.
article about that this week.
Yes, yes. Now there again, like I say, I don't really have what I would call wrinkles for my age, and I've been living. Keep in mind, I retired in a big RV, so I've been living in this huge tin can with plasma for the last 16 years, 18 years, right? So I've been really saturated with it personally. Okay. Not everyone has that luxury. So they live in it, then they go to work. Well, your work and your outside has different issues. There's different chemicals. Every every business on the planet has their own chemicals in them, whether it be from the electronics, which is killing people today. There's so much, there's over 100,000 chemicals used today. Think about that. Less than 1% has ever been tested. Okay. Now you take all of these chemicals that are in your atmosphere and they're mixing together. Okay. Then you're breathing them. This is what science articles are saying. Every time you walk in your home, you're drinking a cocktail of chemicals every single day of your life. Now, no two homes have the same cocktail of chemicals. So now you move on to a different atmosphere. Okay. Your work or your friend's house, or you go on vacation. Now you're taking different chemicals and you're introducing them in your systems. Okay. And you're breathing them in. Your lungs are your heart keeps the blood flowing, but your lungs is what distributes everything throughout your body. And this is what's proven by science. All these chemicals are deteriorating your immune system, your nervous system. This is what's creating the Alzheimer's, the dementia, and all these things, because the chemicals are destroying your immune system. Okay.
Yeah. Now some people have better,
I mean your nervous system,
yeah,
excuse me.
some people have a stronger makeup, right? But some people have are more prone to allergies and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but I read
essentially,
you
if you don't have to deal with all this, why deal with it? So just
yeah,
get a
but you
unit.
do, but everyone's dealing with it. You don't
Yeah. So
understand.
what I'm saying is before I found out about this unit, I don't have allergies per se. I mean, cigarette smoke, yeah, I'll
Right,
get
right.
dry and I'll cough, but and the smoke outside from the forest fire is bad, bad. Like that will affect me. However, on a general level, I am actually really robust in my health, right? However, given the fact that this unit does what it does, it's a no-brainer to me. Get the unit and bring up your base level of what your body has to deal with, because you never get, as you said, you never are sick until you're sick.
That's right. You're never sick to yourself. And
And
that's
then the other part was sometimes things happen, and this happened a bunch of years ago, and someone I knew who was really healthy did Tai Chi Chuan, like from when, a professional, but very conscious about health, never smoked, never, always fit, very fit, because you have to be to
you
be at
hear
the
these
level he was.
stories all the time.
He
Right,
actually found out that he had lung cancer and he died
right.
a few years, a young guy, like
What did I send you today? What was that article
on
I sent you
radon.
today?
But yeah, and I read on the,
Yeah.
the Canadian government website just a couple of weeks ago, not maybe 3 weeks, that radon is the number two killer. Actually, number one when it's not, you don't smoke. For non-smokers, it's a number
Right.
one killer with lung cancer,
Lung cancer.
second to
Right,
smoking
right.
cigarettes.
And there again, most people never heard about it before. They don't
Well,
understand
we
that
heard about it, but
it
we don't want to spend. Like I knew about radon gas, but
yeah, but you don't know if you got
I
it or
didn't
not.
want to spend the money
But
because
you
I
don't
didn't
have
have an issue.
yeah, but you don't know if you have an issue until
Well,
you're
I don't know,
tested.
but as I said,
Right.
we choose to
Yeah.
not spend our money on it because we don't have an effect. But what if
Yeah.
that's creating a problem like
Yeah.
lung
Yeah.
cancer? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing is with this one little device, you take care of issues with worrying about radon cancer, radon gas. Should do you have it? About is it mold? Do you have mold somewhere lurking that you don't know, and it's creating an issue that is building? With the smoke outside, with the smoke forest fires. The other day, I opened my window and I had this gauge that I borrowed, and my house, because of the unit, was at zero particles, 2.5 nanometer particles. And I opened the window and I had my meter there, and it just started going 21, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It went right up to 29. I stopped because I left the window. 29 coming in to the house. That means there's air pollution outside coming in, because those 2.5 nanometers, in my research since I met you, Ron, I found out that those particles are those small particles, extremely dangerous for health, because when it goes and you breathe it in and it goes directly into your lungs. There's nothing,
Right.
you can't cough it out. It will go into your bloodstream and it will do whatever it's doing. That's not good.
Right. Right.
And so sorry for that rant, but I'm
No,
going,
it, no,
okay,
it's what it,
okay, if that is in the air and it comes into my house and the cold oxygen plasma weighs it down so it doesn't get into my lungs, it's worth it right there. Like,
Right.
and
Yeah, but
all the
it
other things,
doesn't just, it does, you made a statement. It
right,
doesn't, that it's too, it takes the particles out of the air,
right,
number one, but whatever is, those nanoparticles are like a little miniature sponge. They soak up chemicals. Anything in that particle, it also kills or neutralizes too, because even though it takes
oh
it out of
right,
the air,
because there's a chemical reaction going on in with the
right.
cold plasma and everything it touches.
Now, and this literally can and will save people's lives for the simple fact is there's a lot of deaths per year for carbon monoxide poisoning. This neutralizes and eliminates carbon monoxide poisoning too. So, so if that's everything, propane, mustard gas, cyanide, all these toxic,
H2S as well. Mind
all
you, it
these
doesn't
type of,
help if you have it outside if you're on a well site, oil and
no,
gas, but it
no.
does if it's inside a closed enclosed space.
Yeah, but whatever you breathe, if it didn't get into your bloodstream when you come home, it's still in your lungs and you're
Right,
breathing this air, so it neutralizes it before it can get into your bloodstream.
right,
Now, there's people that bought my machines that still, when I say they got sick, mainly because they went on vacation, so they're away from their machine for a week or 2 weeks. Then they come home, they picked up a bacteria, or a little bug, or a little virus, or they got a cold or flu. Well, they come home and they get well, usually very, very quickly too. That's the beauty of this. It's not a guarantee that you will never get sick.
right.
Okay.
But now they do have this little mouse-sized unit, right? That is a
Well,
size
yeah,
of
yeah,
mouse
you can try. We have a
that you can
travel
travel with
unit.
and
We
put
have a travel
and with a
unit
12
too.
volt
You
adapter,
know,
you can put it into your hotel room or
right.
travel with it. So that will help you if you're traveling to keep you safe in the hotel rooms.
Well, you brought up a point that most people don't realize either. Cars are just as toxic, if not more toxic, than your home because you're in a closed atmosphere and you got all that carbon, the carbon buildup from the emissions and stuff. And actually, they've already proven because of all the foams and plastics and the materials they use inside your car, then it's locked up in the sun and you get in and you're breathing this stuff it's creating cancer and actually doing a lot of harm to people too. They're not realizing that. Even dust mites build up in your fabric materials and your carpeting too. So by having one of these units for your automobile is a big deal too. You
Right.
can, these are things that people can Google and read about it, how serious they are.
So
These are serious issues.
right. So we're coming up to quarter to now. So the thing is, people say the people I've spoken to, they say, "Oh, that's a lot of money," and I'm thinking, yes. However, when you think about everything that we just spoke about now, all the things it does, it it pays for itself so fast because it also deodorizes. So I had a very
Yes.
weird smell in my home because I had a very aged dog. He was 17 years old, 3 months when he passed, and you do a bit of cleanup towards the end of years, just because it's how things
Well,
happen. And
you know,
then there's a smell, this cocktail of smells.
Yeah.
And
Well, you brought up another point too with animals. When you take them for a walk, when they walk
oh,
back in the house, they jump up on your furniture and your bed. Well, think about what they're carrying on them.
so
This
it's
is
it
killing us.
you're telling saying that it sterilizes them too?
Yeah, yes, it does. Well, there again, we need it. We're talking to veterinarians because animals get the same disease as people. Every disease known today, every disease known to man today is at epidemic strength. And in
Mhm.
cancer, dogs too. The,
Well,
the,
funny you should mention that because I have one of my friends bought one of the units back in August when I introduced her to it, and she came on this show, and she has two dogs, Molly, and she said they just they are so happy. She's noticed a change in them. They're more energetic. They're happier. Uh,
yeah.
they're they're just more content. They're calmer. And she says she loves her unit. She loves the atmosphere. She loves everything about it. And she says she notices it in her dogs because she's retired. She spends a lot of time with them. Right.
Yeah, I love when I hear stories like that.
Yeah.
Well, you met my friend Bob. Well, his sister had a dog, that the wounds wouldn't heal. Well, he gave her a unit because this is used for wound healing. It
Oh,
healed,
right. And my other friend that you
it
told me
healed
about,
the wounds right up.
she said she didn't know if it was working, but she said she had a plant that had lost all its leaves, and she took it and put it beside the unit, and then lo and behold, the thing started to grow new leaves.
There again, this process is used for agriculture too. I sell
Oh,
a
is it?
lot of it to marijuana growers because their biggest obstacle and enemy is mold and pathogens, and
Is
this
it?
eliminates
Oh,
all
really?
mold and all
Well,
pathogens.
that makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, but when you read it, and these are things I've learned myself. When I read about agriculture, what it does, it makes the product grow larger, stronger, and with less water. They've done it with fruit trees, and the fruit on the fruit trees got larger and faster and bigger. So they're
But the
using
fruit trees are outside. How does that work?
because they treat the seeds before they
Oh, the
plant them.
seeds.
They treat the seeds before they plant them.
Okay.
Most of the companies that use this is for greenhouse growing.
Okay, because the other
They,
thing I read is that you can actually, if you have produce or you're in the food business, you can actually sterilize the packaging before you put your food in there.
yes, I do that
And
all the time.
you do
I do
that.
that
Oh,
all. I
okay.
literally like because I'm single and used to throw away like a lot of cream cheese and stuff because I don't use it up. So I let it sit on my counter before I put it away, and it lasts forever. Same with
Oh,
bread.
because it
Same with bread.
sterilizes.
Yeah, I take, how bread's
Okay.
in the cellophane bag. I hold it in front of the
Right.
machine like a balloon. It blows air in there and I
Yeah.
package it up and my bread stays fresh for a month or
Right.
two,
So if,
so
if people want to get the unit, we are we going to do a sparkle or you want to skip that today?
it's up
We,
to
we
you
we
if
could
you
do the
have.
sparkle, but I need 5 minutes. But the special we still have, it's still good, is it? Where they order a
Yes.
500, 1,000 square foot, 2,000 or 3,000 square foot unit. And if they order that and they want to get the Mobizone, the mouse-sized ones, which it's actually black, uh, the Mobizone is going to be half price with that.
Yeah, we made an offer, and they make 3 or 4 different sizes. This is the
But you
strongest
have the
one.
top size.
Yeah, we did them for 149 instead of 300.
Right, and that gets added on to the order. So
Exactly.
if they order it now, they could probably get it in time for Christmas.
Yes, I have inventory right now on
Right.
everything,
And
so.
the units start, I think, about 600 US and probably $50 each time, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
well, you have Canadian and I have American dollars,
Right,
so I
but it's
don't
on
know.
on the website as
Yeah,
US anyway. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
all you have to do is you go to the sparkleexperienceshow.com and then /Ron dash Levinson, Levinson, and you can find the offer there.
yeah. And they can reach me. Our website, UV Cold Plasma, has my phone number. They can call me if they want more information. I'm more than happy to do private consultations and talk to people one on one too.
About their specific issues.
About their specific issues on what they need and things along that line. I've helped a lot of people like you do. That's my goal, is to really get people. I want to leave a legacy. I want people to be as healthy as I've been for the last 18 years.
Well,
I
the thing though is you were telling me that nobody is actually sharing how this unit helps people with their health other than you and I.
Well, it's kind of weird. It's just like it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind situation. You plug it in your home, and just like me, I bought it years ago for my own health, and then here it is. I'm thinking, 3 years later down the road, gee, I haven't been sick. You don't pay attention to when you don't get sick. You pay attention when you do get sick. But same thing with some very good friends of mine that were involved with me, not for business, but just for friends my age. He's been using them for like 9, 10 years, and him and his wife, they haven't been sick at all either.
Is
You
that
know,
Bob? The Bob who had
no,
the
you haven't met him. His name is Rick Frazier.
Oh, okay.
His wife used to be a international flight attendant. She was always getting sick because she dealt with so many different people
Right.
every day, and she
Uh-huh.
had all these flus and stuff. So I says, Rick, you need one of these. In fact, Years ago, he called me. He has a fishing cabin up in Alaska, and I think I told you, he almost killed himself. He took
Oh, with the
he had,
chicken.
with the chicken coop. He took bleach to clean the chicken poop, and it creates mustard gas. And he passed out and almost killed him. There again, I said, I got something for you. Let me send it to you. And he put one of these things in the chicken coop and never had another issue. So it's crazy on what this. They can read about it. I mean, that's why I hope people will Google it and just look at all the articles talking about it. And I say this and I say it again, this company that I represent, they're the only company in the world that holds this exact technology. And
Right.
I
And the
can
thing is, if you do get a unit, make sure you use the bulb that's approved by this company, because
ask, yeah,
if you use another bulb, it's not going to do this. It's a special bulb, special
yes.
frequency.
Well, yeah, you brought up another point. See, there's no filters, there's no maintenance. Air doesn't pass through. This unit seeks and destroys. It will fill your whole home with the plasma. So you replace a bulb every roughly 80,000 hours. I replace a bulb every 3 to 4 years, roughly, is what
But
I
you
find.
said the units you ship, you have them sent you with a special upgraded bulb.
I get the upgraded commercial bulb in all my units to begin with. That's why they'll last a lot longer than just
Okay.
the standard ones. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because the nice part is that as I said, once I have this unit, I don't have to worry about carbon monoxide, the ductwork, any kind of mold growing in my home. I don't have to worry about getting sick from people who might be visiting me. Mind you, I don't have a lot of visitors, but if somebody had COVID, it would not be an issue because it's dead. And you actually, on episode 20, Amber shared how her dad had two nursing homes and they had COVID outbreak in those.
yes,
She applied and got a grant for 30 of these units, put them in
right.
those nursing homes. And if I remember correctly, she said they shut down COVID in 48 hours in both.
Stop the COVID spread in 48
And
hours.
it
Yeah.
saved her dad's life because he was so
Well,
sick.
her dad was no the nursing home was in Texas. Her dad lives here in Vancouver, Washington.
Right.
But her dad got very sick and he was in hospice. They were going to
And it,
send him home to die. Long story. So I said, get down there and put one in his room immediately. And she did. Well, within 2 to 3 days, he was perfect again, and he's out mowing his lawn today. So
right. And they had given up on him.
they had given up on him. Yeah, yeah,
But it
yeah.
seems to me that of the stories I've heard, the unit when it's running does help you to heal better than you could have imagined before
Well, yeah, it does. I mean,
because
when
it
you think,
accelerates wound healing when you have it in your home. If you get a
well,
cut,
well,
it
yeah, it heals. Well, they use. That's why I say NASA. They use this for wound healing. That's how they found out that it kills all bacteria because it's the bacteria that keeps the wounds, bad. So
right.
this
Oh,
kills
is that
all
okay?
it kills all the bacteria. Like I say,
Okay.
even drug resistant bacteria.
Right.
But the beauty is that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. There'll be another pandemic
Right.
situation sometime. You can't spread any germs or any virus. It's instantaneous that it kills everything.
Right.
So when you're breathing out, by the time that breath is out, anything that was in that breath is dead.
Right.
So
Anyways, let's do a thank you, Ron, for all that knowledge and wisdom. I learned some more things again from you tonight.
I hope people pay attention.
We are providing these units at a really good price, and we are educating. You have questions, we are educating, and we will provide you as much information as we have available. And it's because I feel that every home should have it because it elevates people's health to a level because your environment is supporting your healing at a different level. And then from there, when I do my work, when I do the sparkle, it can start from a different level of you wellness in you. And so
Right.
for me, it's a no-brainer, as I
Yeah,
said.
I just want to make this statement for anybody that's listening. I didn't know Michelle from Adam, and like everything else, people are skeptics. Michelle does her research. Michelle has a science background. Michelle wouldn't get involved with me without knowing that this is 100% factual and real. So I promise you, whoever's listening in, uh, this is something that please take it very seriously. And this lady here has the answers to a lot of other things. that can really help people throughout life too. So she's very spiritual on what she does. So I hope people will, come back and kind of mingle with us on these podcasts and maybe ask their questions and stuff so we can maybe,
Yeah,
divulge
I
a
know.
little
I
bit
keep
deeper.
on telling Ron, I keep on telling you that people are watching, they're shy, and then if they get brave enough to come on, we will certainly entertain your questions and have a chat when you come on to the show.
Okay.
It's our pleasure, and let's do a quick, like even at 2 minutes sparkle, because it'll just center and ground you nicely.
Okay.
Okay. So to do this, if you want to, this is awesome. This is quantum physics. It's science based as well, because it's not sci-fi. This is energy, and it goes through the others out to you wherever you are in the world, listening in or watching. And so just allow this energy. You see this beautiful tube of light coming from the heavens to your crown chakra, and it's bringing this stream of beautiful energy to you, and allow it into your body. Just breathe in all the goodness, all the blessings, all the nourishment from the heavens. Allow this energy to circulate to every nook and cranny in your body. As you breathe out all the things that are not supporting you, all the negativity, anything that's not serving you, negative emotions like regrets, sorrows, fears, trauma, anything that's not serving you, allow it to go through the window, through the doors, through the cord at the bottom of your feet to your very own special crystal, where it gets Mother Earth grounding energy. The energy gets cleansed and purified with this beautiful Mother Earth nurturing energy. Allow that energy to get shifted and beautified with this healing energy from Mother Earth. And then when it's cleansed and energized with this Mother Earth energy, just allow it to come back up through the cord at the bottom of your foot, back up to join this beautiful cosmic energy, this healing energy from the heavens, and see and feel this energy moving through you to every nook and cranny, allowing it to displace anything that's negative, and then allow yourself to see yourself as beautiful you, authentically you. See yourself, seeing yourself, allowing yourself to forgive you of everything that you think that you're to blame for. Just allow yourself to forgive you, because that is all the learnings you have are there for a reason, so you can get better and more centered, more confident, more knowledgeable in the areas you need to be. Just allow yourself to forgive yourself of everything and anything that you're ever blaming yourself for, because it's all in the lessons of how we grow and how we become better people to support those in the way that we have been learning to support ourselves. And then forgive others, but don't forget, because the lessons are in just remembering. So just allow yourself to breathe in all the goodness and allow yourself to release anything else not serving you. And as I send you this energy, feel that energy energizing your whole being. Allow it to move through you. Allow yourself to breathe in and feel grounded in yourself, centered, as I align all your chakras. Just allow yourself to feel that beautiful energy, that beautiful sparkle of you within you. And tune into your knowing. Breathe in everything. Allow this energy to come in. Allow yourself to feel the love and send out love from your heart to your loved ones. And just breathe in the goodness and release the last things that are not serving you through the window, through the doors. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. How are you feeling now?
Hungry. We
What's
have
up?
that little 2-minute video about cold plasma 101 that explains the technology. We should really start showing that.
Oh, yeah, we could actually. We could show that.
Like we're doing right now. Is stay tuned for this 2-minute video.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to Cold Oxygen Plasma 101. Let's explore the fascinating world of this new state of matter. Cold oxygen plasma is man-made. To understand it better, let's first look at all states of matter. An ice cube, in its solid form, the molecules are tightly packed together. When we add heat, the ice melts into liquid water, where the molecules move more freely. Adding more heat turns the water into gas, with molecules moving rapidly and spreading apart. Now, if we add even more energy to that gas, we get plasma, the fourth state of matter. Expose that plasma to air, and we get cold oxygen plasma. Plasma exists in both hot and cold forms. In the universe, hot plasma is much more common, accounting for 99.9% of all matter. On Earth, you can find hot plasma in high-energy environments such as lightning, arc welding, and nuclear reactions. It involves extremely high temperatures, resulting in highly energetic plasmas. On the other end of the thermometer, cold plasma exists at or near room temperature. The temperature of cold plasma ranges from 104 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot plasma ranges from 10,000 to billions of degrees. Cold plasma rarely occurs in nature. Phenomena like the light from a flame, the outer edge of lightning bolts, comet tails, the mysterious St. Elmo's fire, and the mesmerizing northern lights are examples of naturally occurring cold plasma, while fluorescent and neon lights and plasma balls are examples of man-made cold plasma. Introducing cold oxygen plasma, a revolutionary form of cold plasma created through advanced physics, chemistry, and engineering science.
Anyways, it's been a pleasure for seeing everyone here, and we will see you later, and join us the next time, December 3rd week. Thanks again, Ron, for coming on. It's
My pleasure.
really nice having you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so join us again. We'll see you the next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.